Hey everyone, Kevin here, and there has been some news that we might actually start to see Nokia making a comeback. Now, anyone who's trying to say it's probably at least 30 years old, anyone who bought a mobile phone from the late 1990s, probably to like late 2009, 2010, there was a very high chance that you were buying a Nokia. Nokia had the smartphone market, or the phone market. They had it sewn up. They really did. They accounted for, I think at one point it was like over 80% of all sales were Nokia phones. They flooded the market with phones. They had so many different phones to buy, and they made good phones. Where they messed up was they were slow to adopt Android. They kept with their Symbian operating system for too long, and before you knew it, the competition had stepped up. Samsung, Sony, Apple iPhone, obviously. All these other companies started producing phones and working with Android and iOS, and Nokia fell behind. Now, what Nokia did was they partnered with Microsoft and they started pushing the Windows operating system. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because Nokia isn't Nokia as we remember it per se. It's not exactly the same company. Nokia sold their phone division to Microsoft and it became Microsoft Mobile. It was still under the Nokia brand, but it was pushing Windows operating system, the mobile operating system. And I don't know, because the partnership still worked where Microsoft took it over, but Nokia was still involved and they were still working together. Microsoft then decided that they didn't want it and they sold it to a company called HMD Global. Now, HMD Global are a Finnish company. They are affiliated with Nokia. They've got a lot of ex-Nokia employees, but the original company Nokia still exists. So I don't know exactly how it's all structured, but the Nokia brand exists. We saw recently that the Nokia 3310 came out. There's a few other phones coming out as well. There's like the Nokia 3, 6 and 9. Apparently, I think it's the 9 that's going to come out. It's going to have a dual camera on it. Now, there's been a couple of news, a couple of stories coming out in the news that suggest that we might actually see Nokia making a comeback. Now, I don't know if maybe it's because of my age, maybe because I owned several Nokia phones over the years, but I've kind of got a soft spot for Nokia and I'd love to see them make a comeback. I really would. Now, the news is, the first one being Xiaomi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, XIAOMI. They're a huge company in China. In fact, I believe they're the biggest phone company in China. They make phones like the Mi 6 and all that. They're doing a partnership with Nokia. So they're going to be, I think a lot of it's a kind of like a infrastructure exchange, but they're also doing exchange of patents and all these other things, and they're going to be working together. Now, I don't know if that's the parent company, I believe it is, and not the phone company. This is where it gets confusing, but they're all affiliated together, the two, HMD Global and Nokia. So I assume they'll be working with Xiaomi, if that's how you pronounce it. So they're going to be exchanging a lot of patents and things like that. The Chinese company are huge, and I believe this is to help them make steps into the global market. Nokia's obviously got a presence there. They've got a lot of patents. So by giving them a lot of patents that they didn't have before, a lot of technical help in areas as well, that's going to help them. So that's good for Nokia. They're partnering with a huge Chinese company. So that's good. And, the company's got a lot of money. The second news release is that they announced today that they're going to partner with Zeiss. So this is a partnership that they had in the past. They partnered with them way back. They produced really famous Nokia phones. The 1020, the Nokia 1020 is known as being one of the best ones as well, as far as camera goes. And this is the thing, towards the end of the Symbian operating system, Nokia produced some phones with some mega lenses on them. There was one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it had like a 42 megapixel sensor on it. It was just insane. And even it was like 4 or 5 years later, I saw lots of photographers talking about how their old Nokia phone still produced better pictures. So I think that's good news that they're going to partner with Zeiss. I think what they're planning on doing, it looks like, is just throwing all their efforts into producing a phone that's got an amazing camera. Now, I've talked about this in the past, where one of the most distinguishing factors between top-end flagship smartphones is the camera. It's really, a lot of the time, it's the only thing separating it. You know, when a lot of the flagship phones have got a 5.5-inch screen, they've got the same Snapdragon 835 CPU or whatever. You know, they've all got the same chipset. They've got the same CPU. Most of them have the same amount of RAM. They've got the same screen. Really, it's the camera that's really distinguishing. The camera and the software is really what's distinguishing what phone you buy. And really, the software, there's different variations of Android, but really, they're all still Android. They're just kind of little skins of them. So this is going to be good news. I bought the Nokia 925 for, an ex-girlfriend several years ago now. And it was a Windows phone, but that was an awesome phone. And it was really well made, but the camera on it was amazing. And for the fraction of the price of like an iPhone, it was producing these amazing photos. And that was using a Zeiss lens. So Nokia are making a comeback this year with HMD Global. And the fact that they're partnering with the Chinese company Xiaomi, and that they're going to be partnering with Zeiss, then maybe not in 2017, but I think that within the next year or so, we might see Nokia come back with a really, really good, viable, top-end flagship that runs on Android, that has got dual size camera lens on the back. And, it could be, I suspect it will be expensive. It's not like they're going to come in at the bottom of the market. They do have the brand name. But I've said this before, I think that we need more phone companies operating. There's all these different companies operating in China, and they don't operate in Europe and North America. I think it'd be great to get more phone companies in there. It drives competition, it drives innovation and things like that, so it's good to see. As I said, I've been a big fan of Nokia for many years, so I think this is good news. They're partnering with a big company. They're partnering in the Chinese phone market, but they're also partnering with Zeiss Lens again, and they're going to push forward and start producing phones with really good camera lenses. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think that within the next year or so, we might see Nokia produce a really, really good smartphone. So hopefully we do see that happen. I'll leave links to the news stories that I was talking about. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. If you had a Nokia, please let me know what was your favourite one. I had many of them. I still can't see past my first one, is 7210, but let me know in the comment area anyway. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.